Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Garcia. I'm a software support specialist over at Distributor Central. I wanted to thank you guys for joining us in our webinar today. Hope everyone's doing well. Today's webinar, we're going to be going over how to create custom products. So what is a custom product exactly? A custom product consists of a product that is either copied over from the supplier. So basically it's in our database, you copy it over from the supplier. Then you can go in and change the pricing, change the quantity, change the images, whatever you want to change about the product, you can get in there and actually do that. So this is going to come in handy for if you're doing like a company store, if you have a relationship with the supplier that we work with, and maybe you have EQP pricing. This allows you to go in there and copy over all the information you need so you don't have to add it in yourself. And then you can change whatever you want to change about the product to make it your own. The second way is if you have a product of your own, or maybe the product's not in our database, you can't find it, you can create one from scratch. So today we're going to go over both ways, how to set that up, how to add it to a catalog, and then how to show it make it show on your website. And so feel free to ask questions along the way in the chat, and we'll save about 5 to 10 minutes at the end to answer those questions. So once you get started here, you'll log into your Distributor Central account, and it'll take you to your home page. And what we're going to do is, in order to get started into the custom products, we have to create a fulfillment account. So there's two types of accounts. There's your main account, which is what you see when you log in. And then you have child accounts, and there's two types of child accounts. There's a distributor account, which is basically like a sub account from your main account. This can be used for like sales reps. If you're doing a company store and you want it separate from your main account, you can use the child account distributor. The fulfillment account is where you're going to host all your custom products that we just talked about. So any products that you create that are custom are going to be located in your fulfillment account. And you can get there by coming over here to the menu on the left-hand side, and we're just going to go to the account tab, child accounts. And here you'll see that I've already created one, fulfillment account. So let's say you didn't have one there. You'll just come up here to child account, and you'll fill out the information here. And you'll want to make sure where it says company type, change this to fulfillment. And you can see right there, it even says manage your own products, product editor. So that's what we're going to focus on. So I'm going to go back to child accounts. And then once you create that fulfillment account, it'll add it to the list here. So you can see here by looking at the list that I currently have, I have 2 or 3 distributor accounts and 1 fulfillment account. So these distributor accounts are going to be the sub accounts like I was talking about, that maybe they're company stores and it's each individual account, or it's maybe I have sales reps and I want them to have their own account, and I still want to be able to control everything under my main account. So we're going to go to the fulfillment account and log in. And you can see that you can notice the menu looks a little different here. So the first thing we're going to do with the custom products is we're going to go over how to copy a product over from the supplier that's already in the system. So you want to go ahead and do your research first, grab all the information you need on the product. You can also go through Distributor Central and search. If you're not sure what you want to do yet, you can search for a product. Just grab the name of it, the item number, and grab the description if you can, or you can make up your own description, which you'll see here in a second. So let's say for instance, I'm going to go with, I already have one picked out. It's going to be a tumbler that I saw in Distributor Central. So I already have all the information ready to go. So now I want to be able to copy it over to my account. So I'm going to come over here to the products tab. I'm going to go down to advanced features, and then I'm going to go to copy supplier products. And here you'll see you have your fulfillment account. The number comes up and it's right there, 895-886, which matches up here. You're going to have to know who the supplier is when you're pulling it from our database. So in this case, it's going to be Diamondback Branding is the one that I chose. So you can either click in the drop down, or you can scroll down and find it, or if you just want to click here and then start typing, you can, it'll take you to closer to where it is. So I'm going to go Diamondback branding, and then I need to pull the item number. So I have copied down the item number already. I already have it. So I'm going to put the item number in there. And then if they have a style number, you can even add that. So I want to go with the style number too. And you'll see a little notes section over here. So the basic product, when copying product, a lot of little tips and tricks that you can read into. What we recommend is copying the product. So by default, the main information is going to copy over required. And then you can also do pricing, product images. You can even do choices and options, which we'll get into the difference between those attributes. So if you selected all of this and just left it the way it is right now, what that's going to do is going to copy everything the supplier has exactly into your account. So whatever information they have, it's going to copy it all over. So for demonstration purposes, you want to try to keep it as clean as possible. And so we're just going to go, let's say we'll do copy pricing, copy images, and then everything else, we'll leave it alone. So when I hit submit here, you can see that it's now done. So now what I can do is I can go back to the form if I had another one that I wanted to copy over. So if you have a list of them, you can go one after the other. If not, and you're ready to look at this one, you can click view and edit product. So now this is taking me into the product editor, and this is actually the product itself. So let's say, how do I get here? You can either get there like we did when you click view and edit product, but let's say that you are coming back to this later on. So you log out, you log back in, you go to your fulfillment account and log into it, and you're on your home page right here. The easiest way to get to it is just click on the product list, and that's your custom product list. So when you do your custom product list, clear that out real quick, you'll see all the products that are currently your custom products in your fulfillment account. So you can see the one that I copied over right here, and everything's already filled in for me. So then if I go over here to edit, you can see that all the information is already copied in, because it's basically pulling the information from our database, whatever the supplier has, and putting it into your account. If I went to pricing, and these are all the different aspects of the actual product level, and we'll go over some of these here in a second. But if I go to pricing, you can see what you've seen as if you search for products, 24, 120, 240, 480. So they have different quantity breakdowns. But let's say that I wanted to do EQP $20. I can remove these. It just says delete. So I'm just going to remove them real quick. And I'm going to change that 24 to a 1. And I'm going to change this to 20. And then I'm going to save it. And so now I've taken what the supplier has, I've changed the pricing to my pricing, my EQP pricing that I have with the supplier, and the product's basically ready to go. If you look here at the margin code, that's going to be what the markdown is from the retail price. You don't really have to focus on that as a distributor, because you're going to be only showing the retail price to your customer. So you can leave that. A lot of people by default will just leave it at A. And if you want to, you can even move it to 0. And a good thing to point out here too is if you're new to the industry, these margin codes you'll see a lot. So you might be on a supplier's website before and you see a price, and then maybe you see a C next to it, and you're wondering what that C is. That's the industry margin code for the breakdown. So you can see here that's 40%. But on this case, you don't have to do anything with that. Just go ahead and click, just put it on A, or you can put it on whatever you want. And then the last but not least on this part with the pricing, you want to make sure that it's displaying to your customers. So check that box, and then that way it'll be displaying to your customers. Another thing you want to check out when you're on the custom product is you want to go to catalogs. So right now it's not assigned to a catalog. By default, you can assign it to your fulfillment account, which in this case I named DC. So you can see right there, it says DC at the top. So whatever you named your fulfillment account will be listed down here, and then it'll have catalog at the end. So if I move that over to the catalog and hit save, Now it's connected to a catalog. And then the last but not least, what I want to do on this when I'm copying it over, because it's going to copy everything over, but you need to do a couple things in order for it to display on your website. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to move over. It looks like in this case, the line name's moved over. If it wasn't, it'd be over here. Just move it over and hit save. And now this product is ready to go on a website, which I'll show you here in a second. So if you're looking at, if we go back here to the main product list, now I have one product in there, it's connected to my catalog, and it's ready to go. The product breakdown itself, there's three main parts of the product, and we'll really get into this a little bit when we create the product from scratch, because then we'll have to actually go into each one of them and create something for it. When you copy it over, it takes all the hard work out for you, and whatever the supplier already has it set up. So you just need to go in and tweak things here and there, and that'll be it. So if you look at the top, you have your three main sections. You have your choices, you have your options, and you have your product itself, the product level, which we just looked at. So the way it breaks down is your choices. So let's take, for instance, the tumbler here that we're looking at. So you want to try to make these products as simple as possible that you can and make them orderable. So if we're thinking about the choices are going to be, in this case, with the tumbler, colors. So red, white, blue, whatever colors you want to offer to your customer, those are going to be the choices. The option is going to be the product color itself. So what ends up happening is just the name product color. So what ends up happening is the choice is going to connect to the option, and then option is going to connect to the product. And you'll see that here when we create these custom products from scratch. But those are the three main areas you want to focus on. And once you get going, like I said, when you'll see here in a second, when we create this one from scratch, you want to start with choices, move to the options, and then go over to the product. So when you're creating a product from scratch now, you need to make sure to have all the information that you need for the product. So you'll need the name of a product. You don't have to use the exact same name the supplier uses. You can name it whatever you want. You have to come up with an item number. You'll have to have a description in there, and then you'll also have to have images for the products. And you'll see that here when we set one up. So before we set one up manually, let's say that you had another tumbler similar to this, categories and everything else applies, it's the same, and you want to create another one based off of this one. Instead of creating it from scratch or going back and copying over another one, let's say, for instance, here's a good example. Let's say there's a Riddick 30-ounce tumbler or a 40-ounce tumbler. I can come in here and hit add similar. And if I do that, then it's going to copy everything over automatically. And then all I have to do is either change the item number or add a style number to it. So if I did add similar, all I would have to do is change the style number, or sorry, change this style number to 30. Or if it was a different product itself but similar, I could go ahead and I could change that to a different item number. Going to go back to the list real quick here. So now we'll go ahead and show you an example of how to create a product from scratch. So now I'm going to come over here. So same, I'll walk you through it again when we come into the fulfillment account. So we log into the fulfillment account from the main account. Once we're here, we're going to click product list. It'll pull up our products here, and then we're going to click add new product. And this is going to start us with a blank template here. And so, like I said, if you want to start backwards from the choices to the options to the product, you can create the base product right away if you want to, and then come back and fill in the rest. But let's go ahead and start with the choices. So we'll take a look here. So you can see the choices, the options, they're all kind of the same in the way you set it up. It's the same process of setting it up. So we're going to go choices first. So the product I'm going to create from scratch is a stress ball. And I already have all the images saved on my computer ready to go. I already know what I'm going to call the stress ball, and I have an item number in mind. So I'm starting with my choices. So in the case of a stress ball, the choices are going to be the colors. So I'm going to click add new choice. Option type, you can see that there's a bunch of option types here, but I'm just going to go with product color, keep it simple. I'm going to use the choice name. We'll start with red. So just going to keep it simple, add a choice name, add a supplier number, which is basically like an item choice number. Hit save. It's going to create the choice for me. And then you can see I have a mini menu just like I did when I was doing the products. So I have a couple different options I can go in here and add. We'll go over a couple of them. We don't want to go too deep into it because we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. So if I go to add additional information here, I could even do a hex code if I wanted to. If you don't want to do a hex code, you don't need one. You don't even need an image with it. Let's say you wanted to add an image to it. I can come up here to the next one, which is images. And now I'm going to select files, and it's pulling from my desktop. I'm going to go to my custom products. I'm going to click on the red ball, hit OK. It's going to update it. And now it's updated. So now I can go back to the main info. And now I have the red. So in this situation, in this example, I'm going to go red, blue, and black. I believe those are the colors that I have. And so those are going to be the only ones that I'm going to use. So you could do a couple things here. You could return back to the choices, which is going to take you to all your lists that you currently have of your choices. And you could do add a new choice. But since I know everything's going to be exactly the same, minus the color and the image itself, you could do add similar too, like we did earlier. So I'll show you an example of that. So if we do add similar, I'm going to change this one. So now I don't have to do the option type because I know they're all the same. I'm going to change it to blue. Hit save, and then all I have to do is change the image. Go to blue. Wait for it to upload. Go back to the choices, and now you'll see that I have two of them created. And I can grab the next one. Doesn't matter either one because they're the same. Add similar, and I'll do the last color. And then just make sure I go back in there and update the image color. Because when you're copying, when you're adding similar, whether you're doing it on the option level, the choice level, or the product level, it's copying everything. So the color, the image, anything that's on that one that you're copying, it's copying it. So if you need to change it, you'll have to go back in and just change what you need to change about it. Kind of similar to when you're copying the product over from the supplier, but this case you already have it created in your account, and you're going to make other custom products that are similar to that one and not having to go back in and do it all over again. So I'm going to change this one to black. And now if I go back to my choices, I have all the colors there. So now I'm done because like I said in the beginning, I'm just going to do black, blue, and red, and that's it. So now I'm going to move over to options. Remember, start with your choices, go to your options, and then we'll get to the product level. So I'm going to go to options now. Remember the options, what the options are is you're attaching the choices that you've created to that option. So I'm going to add a new option. And this has to match. So the option type has to match with the choice type. So if we come back here and look, you can see here, product color information. So I need to use that when I go to the options in order for those to show up. So I'm going to add new option. You can see it's kind of similar to the choice. Change this to product color. I'm going to call the option product color. And then I'm going to give it an item number. So in this case, I'll just do SB for stress ball. And this is going to be so you can find it, and you'll see when we get to the product level, if you put the item number in of the actual product that you're going to create here first, that's going to help you find it a lot easier in the list. And you'll see that here in a second. And then I'll just do PC for product color. And I'll go ahead and save it. And you can see again, once we have additional options within it, so different sections that we can do. So I'm going to go, don't need to do images because I already did images on the choice level. So I'm just going to come over here to, and the pricing is going to be on the product level. So I'm going to come over here to choices, and you can see all the ones that I created right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select all these, save it. And the last but not least, I'm going to go to the ordering. So you have your ordering question here that you can select. It's automatically going to be based off of whatever you put in your main info for your option name. So product color, so it'll say select the, and then whatever you have listed here, but you can customize it to whatever you want it to say. Then here, if you have a minimum quantity that you want them to select, so if they have to select at least one, you can put one there. Or if you had a max, you could do a max. You can make sure it's required. So optional is going to be that the option will pop up, but in order to move on, they don't have to do anything there. Required means that they will have to fill in something in order for it to move on. Next thing is the type of form. So the one we're going to focus on today is choice checkbox. And that's basically just going to create bullet points next to these, and you'll see that here in a second, that they can select what color they want. And then I also have the option to move these up and down if I wanted to. So if I wanted to be blue at the top, and then if I wanted to have it go red and then black, I can do that, hit save. And so now I have the choice created, I have the choices created, I have the option created, and then all I need to do now is go to the product level. So I'm going to add new product. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to call it stress ball, make it easy. Use a SB like I did on the option. I don't really need a style because I'm only having the one. And then you're going to add a product description. So you can put in whatever you want. You can, go to the supplier's website. If it's something, a supplier has and it's not currently in our system and you just want to use their description, you can do that too, or, paraphrase it, however you want to do it. So I've created a little one here and I'm just going to go ahead and copy it. I got it over here and I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm going to click save. And now I have the product created. Now I need to go through the additional steps in order to get it to show up on my actual website. So if I come in here and I look at the custom product that I've created, the next thing I want to look at is the additional. And so we're going over these again, just like we did on the choice level, the option level, and now the product level. So most of the time you're going to spend more time with different levels here, with the different options, the different sections here within the product level than you would in the option or the choice, because this is going to be the main level of the product. So I'm going to just go to the next tab here. And you can see from here, I can add a product size if I want to, the weight of it, where it's manufactured. You can even set a date. So if you wanted to create a product for a certain period of time, you can put a date range on there where it'll only show up in a certain period of time, or you can set a date in the future where it'll show up later on. So now I want to do my production time. So you want to make sure you have your production time in there. I'll just do 14 days. If you wanted to add additional information, you can add it there. We're just keeping it as simple as possible right now. So the next thing we're going to do is the images. So these are going to be the images on the actual product itself. So the ones what I did with the images on, and which I said is optional, you don't have to do it on the choice level, will be when the colors are shown on the website, they'll actually see a small image next to each one that they can enhance and look at to see how it will look. So you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but you can. So you need to decide what you want as your main image. So I'm going to go back to the ones I have and I'm going to use blue. And so blue is going to be the main image on my product. And then over here, I have additional product views. So I have a couple other colors that I want to add in there too. I'm going to go black and then red and upload those. And as I'm uploading these, you can see I've already resized them. They need to be at least 750 pixels on the longest side. And then if they're not, a little message will come up and let you know that you need to go in there and resize them. So then on the pricing, I'm moving on to the pricing now. And as you can see, everything defaults to A, which you don't really have to worry about the margin on the distributor side. So I'm going to do EQP. I'm just going to change the quantity to 1. I'm going to do like $2, just making up a price here. And then, as I mentioned earlier, make sure you check to display it to your customers. If you don't check that, then they won't see it. So you want to check that and save it. If you had a setup fee that you wanted to include, you could change it. You could click on the setup and do the same thing, put in a setup fee, but I'm just going to do the $2 here. And now when I come over to options, that's going back to one of the main 3 points of the product. So edit options. This is the option section here. And you can see how I named that one SB PC color. So let's imagine that I had 50 products in there or 20, something like that. Since you labeled it the way you did by putting the item number on the option level, you'll be able to find it easier because it's going to be alphabetized. So that's what I recommend doing when you're setting it up, is just put whatever the product item number is going to be, put that on the option, and then you'll be able to find it. So if I had multiple, like let's say I was doing the one that I copied over earlier, the tumbler, and I had maybe I'm an engraver and I'm going to do an engraving option, I would still do SB, but I would do like EG or something after that. So I know that that's and obviously I would name it engraving instead of product color. So any options that you do, it's best practice to go ahead and just put the number of the item that you come up with for the product before it, and then you'll be able to find it easier. You don't have to do it, but it's a lot easier to find it. In this case, I only have 1, so it's not that big a deal. So I'm going to move it over. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to just moving down the list here. I'm going to go to categories. And so these are all the categories that we currently have pre-built. And so you can determine which category you want it to go into. So if I type in stress, I can see stress relievers. I could do balls. And I'll just go ahead and leave it at those 2. Hit save. Moving on to the catalogs. So in order for it to show up on your website, it has to be in a catalog. So I'm just going to go with my fulfillment account right now, which is my DC catalog. And we'll go over custom catalogs here in a second. I'm going to save that. Don't worry about the packaging. You don't really have to worry about that. That's more for the supplier side. So you don't have to, as a distributor, you're just creating a simple product for your customers to order. The ordering, this is all going to be set already, so you don't have to worry about that. And then the last thing you want to do is make sure you go to the line name and that it's moved over. So the line name is kind of like your company name. When you create a fulfillment account as a distributor, that's basically making you the fulfillment person, or in this case, almost even like the supplier to the end user. So you actually are going to be the one providing the product to them, and that's how it recognizes it, and that's why it asks for the line name. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So now if I go back to the product list, I'm basically done with the one I've just created. So now I have 2 products. I have the tumbler, which we copied over from the suppliers, and I have the stress ball, which I created from scratch. And if I want to preview it, I can preview here, or if I'm in the product itself, I can just click on preview. And it'll give you an idea of what the product will look like. So you can see here I have my description. I have my additional images that I added, my main image, which is the blue one. If they click on product options, they'll see the product colors that are available. And as I mentioned, that's why we added those images to the choice. So now they can see the colors to choose from. And I'll put this on a website so you guys can see here in a second, but I just wanted to give you an idea. You can preview it as you're going along. So let's go back to the product list. We have our 2 products. And let's say that I have a company store that's going to only have, I only want certain products from my fulfillment account to be in my company store. So remember, fulfillment account is where you're going to house all your custom products. One fulfillment account is the best way to do it. That way all your stuff is in one area, but you may not want all your fulfillment products to show up on every website. You may have certain websites where you only want certain products to show up. So in that case, what you want to do is create a custom private catalog. Similar to custom catalog from your main account where you're pulling products in from our database that you like, that the suppliers have. But this one is you're pulling products in of your custom products that you've created, whether you copied it over from the supplier or if you went in there and you actually created it from scratch. So I'll start from the beginning. So if I'm on the home page of my fulfillment account, I'm going to go down to products again. I'm going to go to advanced features and I'm going to go to catalogs. So the one you see right here is the fulfillment. That's the only catalog I have loaded, and that'll automatically preload once you create your fulfillment account. So now I want to add a new catalog, and I'm going to call it, let's see, custom products. I'm going to click update. And now what I have to do is give permission to my main account to use that catalog. So I'm going to find my account. Let's see. Come down the list here. There we go. Find it, move it over, hit update, save and exit. So now what that does is that gives the website that I have on my main account, or you could have maybe had it in one of the child accounts. Like I said, if you're doing a company store and you want it separate from your main account. So the reason you would do a child account, just to kind of interact here, the reason you would do a child account for a company store that's separate from your main account would be if the contact information is different. So maybe you're setting it up for a client. The payments are different. So let's say on your main account, you use Stripe for all your customers, and that's just your main account. And then you create a company store, and they use PayPal. So you'd want to create the child distributor account so that can have its own payment options that doesn't affect your main one. So this just gives it access to whatever account you've created, whether it be your main account or one of your child accounts that are distributors. So you can use that. So you want to do it wherever the website's going to be located. So now I have two catalogs. I have my fulfillment, which is the DC catalog, and I have my custom products. And now I've already given access to it. You don't have to give access for the fulfillment. It automatically does that because that's the defaulted loaded catalog. So now what I can do, I'm just going to go back to the home real quick, go to my product list. And let's say I was creating this product, or maybe I created another product, and I go to the catalog section. So I just edited on the product level. I can move another catalog over there if I wanted to. Or if I just wanted it to be custom products, I can move that over now, and I can move that back and hit save. So you can do the one-offs when you're creating the product and actually go into the catalog section after you have the catalogs created and pick which ones you want them in. Or if you want to do it all at once, so let's say you've created 20 products and now you want to go back, because you'll need a catalog in order to get it on your website, so you can go back and do it all at once. If I'm on the home page of the fulfillment account again, and I come over here to products, and then I come over here to advanced features, and I go to catalog manager, this is going to give you the option to pull up your catalogs that you currently have. So that custom products one I have, and I can see what products are currently in there. Over here on the left side, this is going to be your entire fulfillment account. So any custom products that you have in your fulfillment account will show up over here. And then you can, so let's say that these weren't over there. I can move as many as I want all at once and then hit save instead of doing it one by one. So that's just another way to do it if you wanted to do it. So now we have our catalog, we have our products, they're ready to go. How do we get them to the website? So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our initials. We're still in our fulfillment account. Come over to our initials and go switch accounts. Switch accounts is going to return us back to our main account. So now we're back to our main account. And if I come over here to the websites tab, hosting manager, Like I said, you want to have the website created first in order to put the products on the website. You can do it the other way around, but in order to see them on the website, you'll have to have your website created. So I created one just called DC Store. So I'm going to go ahead and manage. I'm going to click edit. And this is going to take me into the website editor. And you can see here, I currently have a catalog block. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the library tab, catalogs, and I'm going to remove whatever came with the template. I'm going to add a catalog. And remember how I gave it permission for this main account? You can see here it is right here. So now I can use it. If you created the catalog, the private catalog in your fulfillment account, and you didn't give access to the account which your website's located, you wouldn't see it in this list until you do. So I'm going to click custom products, and now it's in there. I'm going to click done. And this is one of our easy company store templates to set up. So now I have my catalog created. I have it added to my website. I'm going to come down here to the catalog block. You can do two things here. You can either double click, or if you want to actually click on the pencil, if you come to the blocks, you'll see it right here. So if I click on it, you'll see it highlights it, catalog block. You can click on the pencil and it'll take you into the actual catalog preferences here. So I'm going to focus on the catalog show select screen, and I'm going to say no and change it to my custom products. So whatever catalog you have, that's the one that's automatically going to load. I'm going to click done, hit save. What this is going to do is, if you do this right away after you create like one or two products, any other products you create and add to your custom products and you put in that custom product catalog that I created, automatically load on your website. You don't have to worry about uploading it. So you can see right now that the tumbler is showing up. And if you have something like that and both of them aren't showing up, what you can do is go back to your dashboard. So I'm back on my dashboard here. And if you go to, there's an update catalog permissions, and it'll update it. Make sure to get it updated on your website. And as I mentioned, so you can keep creating custom products. You can keep adding them to the catalog, and as long as it's loaded on the website, you don't have to go back to your website, especially if you're using that company store template. And then they'll automatically update for you, and you don't have to worry about going in and having to do it one by one. So kind of wrap things up. As you can see, just wanted to show you a quick way to get in there, show you some basics about custom products. We'll be doing one next week for the apparel type of items. Today we did one for hard goods, so stay tuned for that. But just wanted to show you how you can get in there, create a custom product. This can be used for company stores, as I mentioned. It can also be used for just a regular website. So if you have a website that you want to pull in products from the supplier, but you want to create a custom catalog within that website of your products, you can do that too. So the possibilities are endless. Like I said, I'll stick around for about 5 to 10 minutes, answer some questions I see in the chat, and we'll kind of go from there. If you guys have any questions at all, always feel free to give us a call, 888-516-7401, or you can email us info@distributorcentral.com. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.